to potentially make a far run. Again, for a major. Let's see if they can improve over there.
Okay, these two teams and how they've hit heads. MNM has taken both previous ones throughout this year. Obviously, it's very different rosters that we've seen from these two. Well, generally from NAVI, actually, more than anything.
Yeah.
But still, it's different fights. It's different setups. And obviously, friends between the two rosters there.
There's 2 C's between them. I'm just trying to figure out what
Kayak,
exactly
they're bonding.
They are bonding, yes. Oh, either way. Bans continue. Ying gone, Mute gone, Thatcher gone. Last one will be a defender. Now, Mira wouldn't be too crazy. Valkyrie would not be not pick as well. Or maybe even Arcade. Who knows?
You said 3? All wrong.
Zami. What did I say, Zami?
No, you
Mira?
said Mira.
Valkyrie. Oh, yeah,
Valkyrie,
sorry.
Arcade.
Zami should have been in there as well.
I mean, it's a fair ban. It's
There's
a
so
smart
many
ban.
bans you can toss
There
in now.
is.
It's no longer Thatcher banned. And
There's enough bans now that we can talk about the idea of more bans.
Yes, exactly. It can be more funky now.
Again, it would be so cool. It's something that I've wanted for a while, but I'm not a pro player, and I don't get to make these decisions.
What did you want?
I would like to see more bans.
Yeah, 6? Is that too little?
It would be a good amount. I don't know. I mean, this is just my consensus. Please, nobody put any weight behind my words.
I mean, I agree as well. I want 6 bans.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, there's opinions about it. But you do think that because now, you know, it used to be that there was set bans, and set bans can, in their own ways, be boring. But now we're getting slight set bans, but there's enough possibility of set bans. There's a couple that really no team would like to go up against, and having a flex is like an extra option, would just be cool. Anyway, either way, hey, here we are, theme, starting on what is one of those lockdown sites, and Nook, the operator they talked about on the desk, is in fact free in the hands of Skitty.
Yeah, it's going to be playing that. We've seen it to be very successful, especially the map like Theme Park, which is quite big. There's lots of cameras around. If you manage to sneak your way through into just the right angle, you might be able to catch off one of these rotates, one of these movements on the defenders. And 1 kill can make a huge difference over an entire 3-minute round. So let's see if we get to see any of that from the side of NAVI.
Spray through and pressure towards the top of Dragon Stairs. A fair start towards a take here onto Throne. You want to try and force some of that width control. Most common takes are done underneath this territory, but do they know about the Nook? Skitty's going to see if they can try and potentially strike here with a grenade from underneath. As long as they go undetected, there can be a bit of danger. They have an angle from the stair set itself towards where Skitty's playing, but they don't know where Skitty's playing. Ping a hold, a bit of intel and a bit of a drive there. Solotov's trying to find a fight over the end. The C4 does not quite get the range that it could have struck on the player, but Solotov is instead going to try and move in and try and fight the fight themselves. They're aware, and they're aware. Solotov tears the head off a kayak. It doesn't matter how many song lyrics are typed in chat. There's Solotov making sure that they stick to Naif. The next, they're trying to get the recollection of the kit here, and oh, they just pull off the time of the gadget at the wrong time. Solotov doesn't care. Neo gets one on the back end. Naif's gone. Tab is dropped out of computer. Skitty finally shows their head. But with two remaining players, they're inside the site and looking for a fight.
Doesn't have the kit though yet. That might be the decisive factor in the end of it, but plenty of time, 80 more seconds. It seems like MNM have realized that. Currently not going for any swings. Let Skitty make the movements here, and as Neo stays alive in barrels, needs to be careful to not actually expose himself to any of these openings that have been made in the wall. Triple kill from Skitty. Only up to Solotov now. A 1v1, a minute left on the clock. It's definitely giving away his position here. But as he comes up...
Oh, Skitty! Absolutely insane round for Skitty there. And, well, they said Nook is in the role of the thinker. And I mean...
I'm just going to say this now. MNM, over the past stage, you have been throwing away so many rounds. We have a 4v1 or 5v1 advantage. And this time again, 4v1, Skitty just walks in, he's the Nook. That's fine. Gets that first kill, totally fine. The second, you can maybe think of that as well, but you should be aware of that moment in time where the Nook is going to be coming from. Do not take that challenge. Not one by one. If you do, at least peek in both. But incredibly well played by Skitty there.
I mean, it's... Yeah.
I was going to call it too little, too late, but well, then he does that. You know, it's not too little, too late.
So far
just enough.
From too little, too late. MNM, not the first time we've seen something like that happen on their defense there.
That's okay.
Getting the first one there, the second on the swing inside the site. There was hot pings, just caught Nello on the tail end of a reinforcement here.
Why are you watching the staircase?
I mean, that was it. Did they think that he was both on the staircase?
No, because there's still someone up above. It's like they would have realized that someone was coming down that staircase. That's what was confusing to me. Either way, though, incredibly well played by Skitty. You know, we talked about one player of the week just a minute ago, last game. This is definitely going to be up there as well. So
I mean, it's a start.
It's a start. Getting that top 5 fill real quickly this way.
All right, MNM, you got to brush that round off and see if you can try and shake yourself out of a stupor. NAVI, they've really pulled one on you there, and they're going to see if they can try and double it down. I said it as the same thing before in our previous game. If you win a round like that, it's great. But you've also got to make a statement round as the follow-up, because to win one from the back foot, you've got to be on the back foot in the first place. Skitty, once again, deep and buried on the far end of the map itself, slowly creeping around to throne, has the grenades underneath, can try and get a catch onto this. The shield on the back end, it's a power position, and it's one that's been removed now from the angle. Solotov has to pull himself back round. Anyone that was holding on the top of Dragon is a little bit more in danger as well, and the alert and the call that Skitty's loose is always going to be a bit of a threat.
It's a massive difference in how MNM is approaching this round. The last round, they were really bringing the fight to the outside, not letting anybody of NAVI enter the building. This time around, they're holding back more. They're not really wanting to play it the same way. They want to turtle in just a little bit more and try and find themselves some security that way. But this does provide some safety for NAVI to enter the building as well. Get themselves in these right positions so they can properly challenge onto the side.
The Oster of NAVI steadily creeps their way across the side of computer. On the wrong end of a DMR there, and the attention paid towards the alibi. They're just going to get themselves set up, strung up, and sort of force them back. There's the fight, though. The DMR, Nello, he's holding the long angle, hoping somebody else tries to move into this engagement. And they got to realize, Nath, that there's probably no other way of progressing. They've got that watched, and you're a bit caught out. The only reason you could pass is because of this solid plexiglass in front of your face. They've shepherded the team across, though. All of MNM has been forced back onto a bit of a firing line here. There's a fight under a window, and oh, it's Solotov that wins it out. Teb taken off the board. The first is theirs, and now they can try and restructure. Kayak's going to have to move into position to see if he can replace the window play.
And Navi trying to go from different avenues. Now Skitty again, coming from the side with a double kill. Opens it up. Nello responds to Nath. It's going to be Skitty on the next gunfight here. Will finally drop, leaves it only up to his two teammates, Kayak and Leader. One of them inside the building, looking to pick up that diffuser up against Tyron and Nello.
Oh, Leader takes Nello through the soft. I was going to comment on the bulletproof given all the calls, but apparently they had the perfect ones of their own. 15 seconds, Tyrant. They've been able to get themselves in, take the burn on the gate, but Leader doesn't need it. NAVI find a second round in a row.
And a second round in a row that was properly started by MNM could have led to a victory. They got the opening kill onto the rappel. They knew exactly where to put it. It's definitely something they need to be having a look into, and most likely is exactly what they just had a chat about, because it's just unforgivable losing out to players like that.
Okay, MNM reset. Reset number 2, this time with a tack timeout. So far, 2 very bitter rounds have been taken away from you, and I think everybody wants a tight game between these two teams. It's obviously two teams that know each other very well. It's a map that can play itself well against each other, and one of these two teams was the one able to make it the distance towards the previous major. The other one was just sort of on that tipping balance. They had a strong start. But again, if I'm going to talk about and highlight those must-win games for one of those top 4 spots, taking a previous top 4 team out of it is that difference.
It is. It is definitely working towards that goal that NAVI wants to reach again. And of course, back when they lost Saves and they lost Doki, it was a big blow to the team and they had some giant shoes to fill. And just decided to go for some new talent that hadn't seen Tier 1 play before. And so far, it's been working out quite alright for them, especially if they manage to take a full 3-point victory here against MNM. That is putting them on the right path towards a major appearance. And again, Skitty down below, just clearing, just hoping he will find a roamer that's rotating out. But for now, no one really too close to that hatch. Solotov could drop down in just a moment of time, but as there's no pressure, why would he cross that door that just got to open up and go? Okay, never mind. Goes for the cross anyway.
I was going to say, I mean, he's let himself in, but led right back out by Skitty. Was able to get that kill, that cut from underneath. Solotov took 2 bodies for his previous pressure on that position last time round, and this time doesn't even get the grace of that. MNM, they still have some presence on the second floor. They're still holding a bit of a stretch here, and they can sort of loose that drone in amongst the debris and hope it doesn't get caught out.
Just a bit of a distraction move right there. As NAVI, they have the entry. Yes, there's still players up at the top floor, but that's one less you have to worry about. They do finally come through. That's a C4. Skitty now knows one was aggressive. Neo will find tap. That's a response from MNM necessary. The phones go off. Well aware someone is close around that door. Skitty's just hiding. He's just holding for now. Looking to see if he can shut down any rotates on the side itself.
A little bit of silence, a little bit of caution, and Neo just holding on here. Navi seems to be in a strange way for the first time. Maybe angling up for some direct site pressure, and yeah, he's inside. They've suddenly got the call. He's round on a back line, and it's all theirs. And there's a bite back. Users down on the far end of split. Neo gets a bit of the cover down. They're going for the plant to the best of their ability with the 2 remaining players. Tucked round. Well, I said they had the focus onto the site. The first plant comes down, but MNM, they just caught the tail end of it and were able to strike a little bit back in. But retaking the throne, getting themselves set on it, it starts with taking the top dog out of the engagement. The second is a follow, and MNM finally find their first round in retake fashion.
Still like the call that Navi made right there. Realized only one person on the side. We can take it. Didn't quite take the hatch into account, though, as the drops did come through and the kills were eventually led in from that direction. A post plant, but nothing more than that. A good retake from MNM, and a first round that they were more than looking forward to. And that is one on the board, but again, defense side of map overall, Theme Park, and only having 1 out of the first 3 is not really the best thing. So they need to be making sure that they are turning the tides right now as they head back up towards that top floor, towards Bunk and Daycare. And again, just simple solutions to this. If Skitty wasn't allowed to get a double kill from the yellow stairs, then it would have been a completely different round. So if they have someone looking for that now, they might be more successful. Well, more than likely will be successful. Let me up that a little bit.
MNM taking 1, but I mean, you're playing yourself onto theme here. We sort of want to see more of a stretch here from the side of the defenders, especially with how the start of this game really screamed away from you, and even then the site itself was pulled back, but you bit it off before Navi could get the full settle in. Skitty still staying on the Nook. I feel like that's going to be a constant threat across these rounds. Fair enough, you've earned it. Change here though, Kayak picking up the glass, looking to maybe drive themselves with a lot of this kind of force the position players. The Flores on the board as well. They've got everything they need to do what they did last time, which is shepherd the MNM players back further and further and further until they can set up a strike and go for it.
Maybe create a false sense of security with those smoke canisters as well. It's not a wall, but it definitely blocks vision unless you are Warden, unless you are Glass. Now, both of those are on the board, so we might have some fun little gunfights going through some of these smoke grenades. Get it down the line, at least. That's the first RC Retero used. Bottom of the arcade stairs, just taking care of some quick barbed wire. Will allow some movement later down the line, at least make the pressure be aware for MNM's side. There's currently no one down around there as well, so player that is inside of the drug storage right now could be moving up soon.
Trying to get a little bit of a catch of damage here, but nobody's quite playing the swing on the train door. They've got themselves tucked into Cafe. And it seems like that wants to be a little bit more of the focus here from the side of Navi. They didn't quite like the push from all the way across the top last time round. They've kept some security underneath, so nobody's going to get a cheeky C4 down, and there goes the players just drifting out. The shield gets caught out.
Oh, no way! The drone hole!
So does Users! Oh, the head removed, and well, there it was. We just saw the light up there on the far end. I don't know if that was the drone hole or just the corner.
It's just a small pixel at least. Oh, punch hole that was it. He punched there just to see if he could deny any of the floor's drones coming through. Just got his head removed instead. You know, it's just how the drone rolls sometimes. Now the opening's coming through. Navi again found themselves with an opening kill. Skitty still down below is looking for another grenade target potentially here.
Wow, there it is. All the intel they need. It doesn't quite get the damage. They've still got the ping on the player holding the position, hoping that somebody else goes into the fight. They've pulled themselves off, though. A minute left on the clock, Navi. For all the damage that they've done, they've got to see if they can try and capitalize upon it, and it seems like mistakes learned. Nello's not going to hand over this staircase for another victim of a 2 versus, well, 2, but they didn't seem to have the awareness. The rotate comes underneath. Drug Lab. Teb is in an engagement on the window, doesn't want to quite take it yet, waiting for the pressure to come through. Nello is getting wider and wider attention as Skitty is looking towards the barbs as the route up. The smokes pop off, as does Solotov. Takes the head off of Teb, brings the balance back in. 30 seconds, and Skitty's crept his way up the stairs and then pulls himself back down. He's nowhere near as confident as he was last time, and fair enough, because look at this. The M&M hold, as I said, you can sort of let them roll in, but they've got to be watched. There's the smoke, there's the take, there's the first. The Glass is trying to move his way through. They're just firing into the debris and hoping. The plant's going down behind the train itself. Tyron goes for the retake round on the swing. They've got to get the cover. There's the reveal, there's the plant, there's the planter, there's a post-plant. 1 versus nobody! Neo just gets the tail end of terror there.
And a better round here from MNM. They managed to stall out a bit more, actually protected the important assets. The staircases locked him off well. And of course, the plant still goes down in the end, but they were very eager on trying to retake that before it eventually completed. Did not quite succeed in that. But eventually did get the round. And that punch hole, that, again, it's just these small things that lead to this kind of awkward situations where you're suddenly a man down or 2 men down. Now, this one is not as blatant as letting Skitty walk up the yellow stairs and get a double kill, but it's still like such an unfortunate way to be losing your entry kill right there. Luckily, they made up for it this time, though. And that's a 2-2.
2-2, and both plants came on the rounds the attackers lost. This.
So it was so small, I thought it was a drone, but it was a punch hole. Didn't quite see it instantly. It's completely destroyed afterwards as well. If he had it the first time around, potentially could have swung around for the second, but I mean, he got that 1 kill, put his teammate in a good position for a 1v1 with the information.
I think that's the main thing there as well, is Navi, they got themselves in and got the kit down, and M&M, they had to close down when they did, and they did. If there was any more time between those engagements, Navi might have just been able to eke out a 1 versus 1 situation.
You cannot wait until the kit goes down and the 45 seconds are counting now before you start retaking in such a situation. You need to be pushing that 2v1 advantage that you have, and they did that well, turning into a 1v1 winnable with the information. This is Solotov trying to just edge out the right pixel for that Prisma charge. To put Alibi just in the corner. Now, this is going to be catching someone off guard that is coming in from monitors. It's going to be potentially shooting that shoulder if it's not drawn out before.
Okay, Navi. Last 2 rounds, as we said. You've got the kit down, but you haven't quite got anything else behind it. You've got to see if you can try and stick a bit of a landing here, because M&M, they've taken their attack time out early. They needed to. And importantly, they needed to get the rounds on the back of it, which they've done. Here is going to be that bit of a cost. Something they talked about on the desk. It's the 3rd site, the Tertiary, that becomes the problem child of the sweet family. Picture of theme park. Day out at the adventure might not go your way if this is the one that keeps kicking and screaming away.
So shoulder post spotted out there. Quick Selma charge to at least widen up the pressure a little bit, make that pillar a bit more unplayable. Smoke canisters used. I believe there was an impact as well to stop it from fully popping off. There you have it indeed. Got both. There's still an opportunity to get an extra Selma up on that wall. Just has to be careful. Has to potentially dig it in just deep enough so that impact won't catch it.
Oh, we hear the window being popped open as well. They're going to see if they can try and bait out one more. The cover there towards the impact. Does it get deep enough? Solotov does! Drives Teb home, takes the Selma and the player for the cover too. Takes a huge amount of damage. Gaiak gets a response down the corridor. But suddenly we're seeing these bite backs here from MNM.
Solotov is quite low on HP, but there's a high fire rate gun here. Spots out that the Nomad is indeed inside the bathroom now. Users will find that kill. 4v3. Favor is for MNM. Everybody's starting to get a little bit closer around one another. Skitty again is coming up the yellow stairs, but this time they should be aware of it. As Users is watching it. Will find a head. No, he does not. Skitty wins out on that gunfight. Tries to find his second, but it's not quick enough on the flick.
Very important responses here from MNM and Tyrant. He gets the 2 with Solotov getting the tail end. MNM, they pull themselves ahead across the board here. They've just been able to sort of grab the momentum of this game and pull it steadily and steadily since the TAC timeout. Refine themselves, but most importantly, refine the idea of responding to the opponents, the attackers. They're being sort of answered at every question they're posing now. No more sneaking around and suddenly appearing on side the site and pulling out what was happening on those opening 2 rounds. There's always a bit of awareness from MNM, and most importantly, if a player goes down, there's a reaction to get a response rather than some that we saw on the opening 2 rounds.
Now I know the desk talk before about, you know, who is going to be winning their tertiary side, is going to be winning this game, but I think that was with the intention that it was going to be coming down to a tertiary for the attackers to win a round, not when 2 rounds were already won and that basic story gets thrown out the window. But it still shows well onto MNM that they were able to lock that one off, and I dare to say the most confident that they have locked out a round so far here today. Now they need to do that again onto the Armory Throne. The last time we were here, it was the sneak in from NAVI. They didn't realize there's only a single player on the site. They took it, they went for the plant, and then lost it on the retake attempt from NAVI. That became a retake success. NAVI will be looking to improve on that.
Skitty finds themselves doing a lot of heavy lifting here on this, the kill game of the approach. And oh, Solotov tried to play a dangerous game there with Teb, who has unfortunately not quite really been able to get his teeth into this game as of yet. He's finding himself in these positions that are being locked off by the gunpower of MNM. That, to be fair, even on the first round that they lost was well put together. Here, one more take onto Throne. They're going to go for the steadier retake over the top of Dragon once again. Slightly different positionings here from Solotov. Doesn't want to get caught out by the grenades from underneath, and fair enough, because, well, you have been a couple times. And Skitty, realizing the hatch is closed, realizes it's a different hold.
And that should be indeed a telltale sign that they are playing on a different position, but Solotov and Kayak will trade eventually. That is the ace of the board. It will be very painful if they do want to open up a floor or wall eventually, as they do not have any secondary heart breach or heart breach gadgets.
The spray through on the soft, the catch on the drone. He will probably hear a repel in a second behind him, but Usus, with the Mozzie pass that was onside the door, is going a little bit undetected. Naif, he's digging his way through. He's got behind a lot of the players, and it's Teb that wins out Usus, and Neo wins out on Naif. Instant trades across the top story here. They're different stories, but do they know of Tyrant tucked around on a cold corner, waiting for a hard clock onto the swing round? They're drawing as much attention away from him, and Tyrant finds Teb. The reveal there, you can see a quick reaction from the 2 remaining Na'Vi players, Skitty and Leader, the 2 that, as I said before, have been a big driving force towards the team.
MNM quickly rotating some of their players around while the pressure is still on that top floor. Get Neo back onto the site just to provide a bit more safety, because it seems like they've pulled off. It seems like Leader is looking to go for the site directly. But he cannot quite abandon Tyrant up on that top floor yet. Needs to make sure he's not looking to go quite aggressive as he's about to swing in.
They're concerned. They don't really know the numbers on where Tyrant's gone, but they do know there's 40 seconds before the fight on the site has to come against it. Skitty hears a drop, sees a Malusi. Well, they get the catch on the hat. There's the swing round. You can see that on the far end, Leader's gone down. Skitty is the only one left standing. The fight on Dragon Door goes away from Na'Vi. The fight on the opposite door is in their favor, but 20 seconds now. And a 2 versus 1. No Kit Cold on the far end. Has to take their way through split. Their reveal is, we know you're here. They're either side. There's only really one way that can go. 4-2, MNM claw it back from a terrifying opener to a little bit more of a tempoed half.
Yeah, this is more like the usual split you would like to see on Theme Park of 4-2. Of course, it doesn't tell the entire story that we have just seen. Also, some good baiting going down there onto the split area, just opening up a little bit. Draw the attention towards yourself for the teammate to eventually clean up. And that 4-2 is now what NAVI is facing after such a strong start to this game. They do still have a tactical timeout available to them, but what I think is that they had a goal of 2 rounds in this half and managed to at least achieve that. So are looking to use this for a bit of a later round. Let's say if MNM is going to be able to win that first attacking round, and maybe the first 2, when it's really starting to get very tight on that scoreboard.
This could be a little bit telling here. As we said, the true test is going to be on your defense on this game, and Skitty and Leader have done a lot of work. Now's the moment for the remaining players to have some of that, the angles of defense, put a little bit into their favor. It's felt a bit like a 5-sided game from the side of MNM. All of them have dug the teeth in, as you usually expect. But again, they're on their defense. It's a very tricky mistress to handle. Theme.
Yeah, in the meantime, Nath and Tab not really having the best of games as of yet. Tab does have 2 kills, but he's also been the opening kill twice or 3 times in the round. It's not something you would like to suffer, so hoping that they can get back into it a little bit better throughout this defensive half to help the rest of the NAVI on their way to at least some points today.
Well, quick pace in, doesn't quite get the shot onto the goo that was tucked around, and also the hope of anything else that might have been there. But this is a bit of a direct drive. They're trying to get control of Drug Lab, see if they can force a bit of the players above to find and hammer their way down. A slightly louder approach that comes with the cover of the E1D. They have the extension here. Nath is playing around the Dragon Says side. They've got some of the focus around Arcade as well. They're going to see if they can try and catch the reverse of this. Get a back fight and make sure that those fleeing players are not fleeing confidently. They want to still force them across the top and into the hatches, but this way, who knows if somebody is watching. The Gon 6 hits the shield. Didn't quite near caught out.
And as the ADS indeed has been reset now, 5 seconds before it comes back online, but I don't think there's another piece of utility they can actually use to get rid of that shield. Nath sees the barrel right there, but he gets his head taken off. Solita finds it, instantly jumps in, taking the ground right here as Teb finds a response to use this.
Teb does very quick and very important response there. Uses and the Jackal is gone. They've crept their way in. The Warden's just going to pull himself and rotate round. Will he pre-fire? Not well enough. Nello takes the head off. There is still obviously a loose thread, and there it is. Neo gets Kayak. Teb, he's tucked in, hiding and hoping the train gives him enough coverage. They're watching the hatch drop. This has been a very clear and concise, well, clear across the top. They're just missing the one loose top floor player. It is the Gambit. If they go unchecked, they can define this round. If they get checked, they'll probably very quickly be removed from it.
That's a foot. Almost went out hidden there. Tab takes a bit of a wall bang. Eventually will be taken out from the other side. Solitov shuts down. But Leader, he's rotated back up to the top floor. He doesn't actually want to stick in the side. Realizes he needs to make something happen right here and hopes to do so on a bit of a flank. But as he doesn't find anybody currently, he also knows the cams have been hacked. They know now he's not on the side, so they try and pull the trigger here.
That was it. A very quick game. They're going down split, and he's going the same way. Finds one. One's already slipped by.
Oh,
There's two! There's one more! It's all thread together in a 1 versus 1. The reload and Leader! He somehow clutches it out. MNM has had 2 miracles taken away from them by the blessed play of NAVI.
I don't know what to say. I mean, they had the cams hacked. They knew exactly he was not offside. They pulled the trigger, tried to run in, just a little bit too slow. Allowed him to get back onto site and do what he just did, a quad kill. Lines them up onto the split, finds the first, then 2 as 1 drops and 1 walks in. It's just a 1v1 at that point.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
And he wins it out just in time as he reloads. You have it again on the replay. So he finds the first as he walks in, pulls back ever so slightly because he doesn't want to be in the same spot. And then these 2 just line up.
MNM.
Why does this keep happening against MNM?
Well, fool me once, shame on you.
This is like
at least the third time.
The sixth time or something.
There's 30 seconds left, and the call has come out. He's on Dragon Stairs. Let's push split. There was the drone that was dropped on the run through on the site itself. You know, I'm not sure.
Again, perfectly played there.
Right place, right time. There's no two ways about it. He went exactly where he needed to be and did exactly what he needed to do. But that is 2 of Navi's rounds have been huge clutches. Huge clutches. 4 versus 1 rewritten. And that is infuriating to suffer.
Again, it just keeps happening against MNM as well. It's a mission that we had in one of the first play days. It has happened over the major as well, where they got a 1v5 ace clutch against them. It keeps happening against them every single time. Every single play day it almost starts to seem like. And that is something that is going to be costing you games in the end. And that's going to be costing you qualification if we continue going down that path. Tyrant has just snuck by a camera, though. He's about to be coming up the yellow staircase. He's quickly recovering. Not quite sure if the camera is still being watched, but he wants that hell to be up and running so he can start ascending the staircase.
Yeah, tucks himself in. There's a shield dropped in. There's Solotov dropped as well. Skiddy with a very important take. Solotov has been a leading factor in the leading deaths suffered on the side of Navi throughout this game so far. Getting them off the board is a huge first step. Tucked now round with all the attention paid towards the single player. That's putting a bit of focus here from the side of Cafe. There it is, the drop of the Banshee. Just inside the door, we'll give them a little bit more width as Tyrant still waits. They're going to go around a little bit onto the stairs. They know Tyrant's there as they swing the stair set by Tyrant.
He's not watching it. If only you just stand up, Kayak. It's a free kill. All you have to do is press that crouch button.
Oh, do they know?
They don't know. They have no clue because no sound has been made. Tyrant got in this position by using the hell presence. That's a bit of noise. Kayak doesn't hear it.
Slips away. 2 ships pass in the night. Kayak isn't entirely sure where he heard that audio from. He thought there might be a rotate. There's the drop on the camera. There's definitely a bit of noise that they'll hear. The pressure comes around. The grenade hits the stairs. The second hits Kayak. He's going to swing round into it. Takes a shoulder full of damage.
Oh, they don't expect him to be down there now after that grenade just popped. Probably think it's going to be clear. There's also no grenades left for Tyrant. We'll be watching upwards as he ascends these stairs. Shouldn't be watching his direct opponent. Kayak will find a kill eventually. That was a very long engagement.
Played it patiently, perfectly, and now it sets us up for the pros of what's going to happen inside the site. There's a strike there. Kayak down on the long end, gets the kick cold. Neo's down as well from that, popping their head up. They still have that position, so Nello's got to see if he can try and take the fight first. Tucks round, gets the reveal, doesn't get the hit. And that is Navi bringing themselves back level with, to be fair, one of the only real rounds they've had it in solid control.
That's exactly it. This is the one round Navi has been in control almost the entire round so far, because the rest did come down to some clutches and then, you know, the pop-up of Skiddy on the yellow stairs then. But hey, a 4-4. They are trying to get back into it now. They were behind just momentarily ago.
Defenders, protect your
And now,
bombs from being
as we
used
head
by
towards
attackers.
the Tertiary site, which is going to be the Dirt Lab and storage, it's a site we do not often see as well, and we did kind of hear this from Jack earlier on. Teams are starting to shift away from initiation as the Tertiary site. We see it coming down right now. However, I still think both do not have the success rates they could have. But this one is a bit more difficult to attack due to the fact that the bathroom entrance is a window or a door that's deep inside the map. And the same goes for the drug storage, which is also a window jump in or the direct sides next to it. So it is always a bit difficult to attack this because you never really want to go for a hop in on your opening engagement.
If Navi can pull this off, they might be able to pull themselves back into the lead. Obviously, MNM have used their tack timeout. Navi still have theirs in their pocket. And to be fair, the bit of fights that they've pulled back is sometimes the best energy that you have. That hero play is the drive through. That drone, smart, get itself touched through just in time. They destroy the gadget.
Yeah, so if you use the armoring that is on that drone right before it jumps through. It wastes the serial laser gate, still gets what's on the other side of it. This time, nothing, however. It's better always to try and see if there's maybe a barbed wire or a benchy on the other side.
All right, 2 little quick pockets of damage, and now attention paid towards the second story. No surprise to anybody that's tried to take or attack this map or knows what's locked in, but it's a lot of vertical attention. The shotgun makes a statement. Says, I'm tucked around on this corner, and you got to see if you can try and dig me out. There's the smoke grenade that's just going to stop a bit of movement behind it. Another grenade, see if it can get the catch round of anybody that's in that position. That smoke is in a very aggressive position. That grenade is in 1-2. They both tuck themselves out of there, but Leader takes scraps of damage for the exchange.
But that's at least the close corner now cleared out. They don't have to worry about that anymore. The next target will be that shield. Need to find a way to get rid of that one somehow. As Skitty goes aggressive and finds the kill on Solotov. Again, the opening here for Na'Vi. Now Users needs to decide, am I going to be challenging the window or am I going to be challenging the cafe door? Either way, Skitty is happy to take the engagement here.
I mean, that's it. 2 times in a row. The gate is almost reactivated, but Users was holding on to it and holds on to it. Skitty removed as the final ends of the exchange. They're inside the bathroom and inside the defense. Takes out one. Nafe suffers as well on the door itself. They're sort of caught in between a tricky situation. He's doing everything to try and hold on with the SMG swing in the corner. Kayak's got a bit of a watch on anyone else that tries to join him. Teb held at bay. Currently at the top of the stairs, they have a body advantage here, MNM, but it would not be the first time it's gone away from them, so they're taking their time to rotate round onto the window, put pressure onto that player from 2 different places, checking just where they are. They're lying down, holding the very aggressive place there, the pop and the pull round, the E1D, the movement in the pre-fire. Tyrant gets the connection, they're over the top. Kayak can't quite find one of his own. They're holding onto the window, hoping they find it. Neo does find Teb though. Another 4 versus 1. MNM, 30 seconds. We've seen this struggle, we've seen this suffer before, and they have seen it more than anybody else. So they are not going to throw this to a tricky situation. Nello's the man with the kit. He can really quickly get himself planted now as Kayak's found his rotate round onto the back end. His position was revealed. And MNM pull ahead once again.
Think if the impact was tossed there towards the planting spot, could have actually gotten the injure onto the planter. And after that time would have been off the essence, but well done. MNM do manage to pull that one across. They are back in the lead again, and the Tertiary side for now has been avoided. Because that would have really been telling for Na'Vi being able to get this win in. Need to work a little bit harder now. Pushes towards 12 rounds if they want to take this in regulation. And they start off again on their first site. On the Armory and Throne Room, which was a 1v4 clutch by Leader on the alibi with the MX4 Storm. The second 1v4 clutch that MNM has suffered throughout this game. And surely they'll be looking to have none of those happen against them anymore for the rest of this game. If another one happens, then I don't know what to tell you. It's like MNM just isn't able to close out 1v4s, it seems like.
It's like, you know, when teams have a curse of like they're on map point and then there's a
curse of being in 1v5 or 1v4 situation.
Yeah, for them it's a curse of if they're in a 1 versus 4 especially, they're the most worried.
So it's time to call a timeout like in the middle of the round here.
I mean, this game should be wrapped up for MNM.
It should have been.
There's no 2 ways about it. It's 2 rounds that have been 4 versus 1s that they've
8-1 right now.
Lost. And here we find ourselves still having to play through it. Na'Vi, they've kept themselves going through hero plays, but still, there's no sort of denying they have been on the back foot across this game. Now's their moment to see if they can try and just keep pace. Otherwise, MNM will find themselves on map point, and we assume we'll get a Na'Vi timeout. Another quick look in towards Drug. What's the change here from the side of Na'Vi?
The thing is, though, right, these hero plays are also a reliable way to win your games and win your rounds because they rely on mistakes made by your opposing team. And that is a shield taken out by a grenade. Teb still wants to go a bit aggressive here. Needs to be careful to not lose his life. The hatch behind him has been opened up as well, so it's never out of the ordinary. Well, it is out of the ordinary to go for the drop, but it's not without question that it could happen if he's too occupied with the players inside a cafe.
Solotov is going to move on, and they take the drop down onto the site itself. They're not going to suffer the same fate they did before. They know that it's a very good game of catch that MNM plays here across the top floor. Tyrant finds the first. It is Teb. Actually removed. Nafe is the first step up. With the call that comes through, there's the reveal that somebody's close, so they're not going to risk the engagement, the 1 versus 1, when they know that there's still a lot of time for them to try and bring some support over for Neo, the man with the kit. Oh, he almost loses it. The fight's down to pistols. The elbow is a bit wide. There's 2 players. But it only takes NAVI to finish it off there. The pressure was applied back onto them by the side of NAVI. They're going to run out and... oh, they're going for the rotate round underneath all the way, hoping to see if they can get a catch and a score. There is the Lion that's around this position there on the other side of the lockers. Usus and Solitov suddenly find one apiece, dropped from, I assume, the bathroom window above, and now suddenly a life a bit forfeit in a 4 versus 2.
Went for the long way around, thought it was not going to be clear to go in from the gong room. As Skitty will find the first kill, takes down Solitov, brings it back to a 2-on-3. Time is starting to run lower and lower now, 40 seconds left on the clock, and they do not have a clear opening onto the side. Only these 2 doors to play with here, and Skitty holds off to one, leader onto the other. Both these players have been on an absolute heater this game.
Wow, Skitty, he's holding off. He has all the eyes that he needs over the side of the smoke. There's the pulse of the E1D. They've got the confidence to go for the fight. They're stacked up. This time it works out in their favor. The 3 versus 1 lead is the back line. He's looking towards getting the catch, and anyone going for the default plant spot behind the main core pillar. Tyrant's the man with the kit in pocket. He can't quite get in the door, though. He's got to try and shuffle as the fight happens elsewhere. Nello goes down. They're tucked around Usus. Does win it out, but again, it was almost another moment of MNM. No, please God, no.
That must have been a bit sweaty for them there as well. It's 1v3, one of the players goes down. The player with the kid is stuck in the dragon door. You saw Nello as well. He just raised his head. It's like, okay. We managed to get that one. We are now...
Now back in.
I like the thing that Solitov was playing on his PlayStation there. Just in his view. Sorry.
Was it Rainbow Six?
Attackers need to
What?
locate and defuse.
No, I mean, it's like you have his monitor and you have the PlayStation like as where normally a PC case would be standing just in front of it.
Maybe imagine if he was playing on PlayStation.
Crossplay, you know? It's,
imagine.
He was using his mouse and keyboard though, so that kind of disproves the point. You never know. Either way, it's still a match point for MNM, even though we have been very strict on them and their rounds and how they should have already locked it off 3 times by now. But they are still in a good position. They are on the attack. They are doing quite well. NAVI only won 1 round very decisively. The rest all coming down to a hero play or a strike at the right moment in time. And thus, as we head towards Bunk and Daycare, this is the moment for MNM to lock it off. To say, these points are ours. We are looking to close up the gap towards that top 4. We are looking to go to the November Major. And kind of kick NAVI out of that dream.
All right, MNM, 1 more is the distance here to try and pull yourself a full fat win. Your first since the opening Playday. Here, NAVI, they've been on a bit of an upward trend at points. They had a bit of a dip, but theirs was on the previous one, and you can sort of force that back out and make sure the fight around the middle is one where you really start defining yourself as the top on it. Quick break there. The Banshee just inside cafe door. You can see they're opening up their rotate round onto train as well towards the default plant. They're sort of playing and vying for the attention, but the Nook of Tyrant is going to see if they can maybe have a little bit more luck on the strike around where Kayak did a massive play last time around.
Kayak was very patient back then. Managed to just dance around the grenade, stay alive, and after that, well, they thought it was going to be clear on those yellow stairs, but nothing was farther from the truth than that. Grenades again to be tossed up here. Taking care of that barbed wire. Not a second one used this time to use quickly around that half wall to make sure it's going to be cleared. That one will be kept in pocket. As in the meantime, we also have Nath ready with a nitro cell to be tossed out onto the balcony. There's no one there currently. There's more the pressure of NAVI seems to be coming, or seems to be received from the cafe side. So MNM starts to open up on some shields over there.
The calls come across the board. Waiting impatiently, but this, the slow crouch walk towards computer, hoping to get the drop, and maybe the drop onto Nath here by a bit of surprise. It's otherwise still just hoping to get the first flourish of information. That grenade will get caught over the top. There's not somebody else to offer some support. The EMP pops off, and now they've got angles in towards the site and across the long corridor itself from the upside down rappel. They're causing a few more problems for any of the players that might be in that situation, but there's the first. Nello gone. Doc will be caught out by Skitty. They're getting themselves still tucked in onto that corner. They could have maybe put a little bit more pressure in. Do they know how close somebody is? The drop comes round. The audio is silent. Nath He's hoping somebody has made the journey, but Tyrant's actually kept on pushing, which causes problems later. Teb suffers in the scrap and the scrape of things. There's the ping on a player and the reveal of the one just tucked in. A massive reaction there from Skitty to get the fight back here. They're inside Cafe, but they still have the man disadvantage. It's pushed further by Skitty. The grenade catches out the one round on the side of Train, but with 15 seconds left, they're angling up to see if they can get the kit planted behind the Train itself. The 3 versus 2. Nave could be massive here. Solotov gets an important one, gets one more, but it's just the kit to be planted. A 1 versus 1 post-plant. Doesn't quite have the reveal on where the player is. The drop comes round, and a misthrow on C4 there. Nave! Oh, maybe you didn't know about the hatch. They have the call on the player, rooting his way around. The fight is scrappy over the top. The pre-fires, both are massively injured, but Solotov takes it out in the last breath. And for everything that had gone their way earlier in the game, they were not gifted one more miracle. It is an MNM big deep breath and an MNM 3 points.
I'm not going to joke here. I genuinely thought he was going to blow himself up there because he threw an Natus C4, he grabbed something in pocket. I thought it's over at that point, but eventually still looked out. Well done by MNM. They